All right, let's talk about how things changed leading up to the draft, and a lot of people don't realize how it's changed over the last year. So this is what I want to show you about last year's leading up to the draft last year till now when draft time is happening. So last year, January of 2023, Caleb Williams was bar none the number one draft pick overall. He'd just come off his Heisman campaign, so of course he was going to be highly touted. That momentum rides and carries. A lot of people don't realize how bad his year was this year, and you can make excuses. Just like you can make excuses for Justin Fields. I get it. Caleb Williams has talent. I'm not saying that. But look what people were projecting. Consensus. This is consensus projecting January of last year. Caleb Williams, first overall. Drake May in the top 10. Quinn Ewers in the first round. As we move towards the draft of last year's class, this is for this year's class. So right when last year's draft happened, now we're getting some buzz. Doesn't change much. Okay. Lead up to the season, we have transfers happen. We have people starting to get hype over the new year. We have the new season starting. You've got Caleb Williams as a first overall selection. Drake May is now a top 5. Quinn Ewers, Michael Penix, and Shedeur Sanders are all considered first-round quarterbacks. That's leading into the season. What you don't hear, look on the right side of the screen, what you don't hear is all these guys that are now first-round projected as we lead up to the draft now, as the season has ended, as we've gone through the season, these are guys that you weren't even hearing their name in the first round. Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels, Jerzon Newton, Liatu Latu, Nate Wiggins, J.C. Latham, Amarius Mims, Keon Coleman, Cooper DeJean, Chop Robinson, Bo Nix, Terrion Arnold, Cam Kitchens, Troy Fontenot, Braylon Trice, Brian Thomas Jr., Talise Fuaga. All these guys had huge years that then all of a sudden these guys weren't first-round quality. Now all of a sudden they are first-round quality. So let's compare that now to where 2025's draft class is. Because consensus, I'm going to say last year's draft, 2023, was hyped to a decent amount. This year's draft is far and away considered better than that draft class. The best draft class since 2021, when you had Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, obviously. You had those quarterbacks, Mac Jones, you had those quarterbacks coming out. Now, this class is hyped up probably slightly higher than that one, but it's actually very similar. A lot of people don't realize that. So here's the same draft class. We don't know who's going to be a bust. We don't know who's going to be the bomb. But here's where we lead in January. This is where we sit now with what people are saying. Caleb Williams is first overall. Drake May is second. Jaden Daniels is a top 10 pick. Michael Penix is probably a top 15, and Bo Nix is probably a first-round pick. You have some others lingering on the outside like J.J. McCarthy. But look at January 2023 compared to January of 2023 for the 2024 class. So already, right now, they're talking about next year's draft class. Shedeur Sanders is the second overall pick. That will change, and he's going to be the first overall pick because wide receivers don't go first overall. Luther Burden III, the wide receiver out of Missouri, is considered the first pick right now. Just like Marvin Harrison Jr. was considered first by many in this class, and he's the best talent in this class. Luther Burden III will not be the first overall projection as we go along. But then you have Quinn Ewers, Drew Aller, Connor Wigman, Jalen Milroe, and Carson Beck, all considered first-round talent. Last year at this time, with the top left, you only had Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Quinn Ewers as first-round talent. Things change as the season happened. So all those people saying, well, next year's draft class isn't as good as this year's draft, that's true. This is a more top-heavy, more talented draft class than next year's. But we don't know how that draft is going to change. We don't know as the season starts next year how Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Drew Eller, Connor Wigman, how these, or a guy out of nowhere like Jaden Daniels was not projected to be a first-round pick anywhere into the beginning of this season until he started having a Heisman type of run. Now, he was a good quarterback. Everyone considered him a good quarterback, and there's a reason he transferred to LSU because he was a good quarterback with talent. But we don't know how these guys are going to do. We don't know how next year's draft class is going to shake out. So anyone saying we have to trade Justin Fields now and pick in the 2024 draft class because we won't be able to find a quarterback in the future. That's bullarchy. That's bull, because we don't know. And right now you've got Justin Fields with $3 million left owed for this upcoming year, $6 million on cap space total, $22 million on a fifth-year option. And even if we don't exercise that, we've got a first-round pick now, and if we trade down, another first-round pick next year, or more, and you're building around the position to make it better for whatever quarterback is there. Now it's openly out there. I support Justin Fields. I'm 100% in support of him, and I think he's the quarterback for the Bears. But if I'm wrong, we're not left in desolation. There's quarterbacks always coming to the league. And right now, we have a cheap quarterback that's showing steady improvement and leadership leading into next year. I just thought you guys might want to see where quarterbacks kind of shift as things go along and how they change. Maybe some of these guys fall out. Maybe other quarterbacks jump back in, and we have other quarterbacks that rise out of nowhere. There's quarterbacks transferring in the portal all the time. We don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows. But we do know we have Justin Fields on a cheap contract, and it's the national media narrative that makes it sound like the Bears have to make a decision now because we have the first overall pick. Well, next year, if we have the 9th and the 20th overall pick, we have other draft capital too. We have the Panthers' second round pick. We have our own. And if we trade down with our draft pick this year, we'll have more draft capital. So, guys, there's options. The Bears don't have to rush a decision now. That's what I'm getting at. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments. And until next time, bear down.